The reason I'm making this video is because a new trademark for Sword Art Online was just set through. That was for Sword Art Online Echoes of Aincrad, and this had the Sword Art Online fandom speculating, what could this be? What is this trademark for? Is this the title of the new movie? Right? Is this going to be a new video game? Is this a new season of Sword Art Online? Personally, I think it's just a new mobile game because a lot, like the same thing happened when Variant Showdown was trademarked. People are like, what is this? It's a video game, right? Same thing with Fractured Daydream as well. Like, this happens all the time. I think it's just another mobile game. That's what I think Echoes of Aincrad is. But it did get me thinking on what if we got a season of a show of Sword Art Online that is just side stories of adapting storylines that have not been touched upon yet. Stuff that us Sword Art Online fans we would love to see be put to screen. So that's what this video is. I'm going to be going over some stories that I think would be great to get adapted into maybe a mini season of Sword Art, 12 episodes of just like side stories that weren't touched upon before. I think that could be fun. So here's my ideas, right? So my stories that have not been adapted yet is, of course, the big one is The First Day. That is Kirito after leaving the town of beginnings, after Akihiko Kayaba has said this is what Sword Art Online is. This is what Kirito did after running away, where he gets the Aniel Blade for the first time, or Anal Blade. I don't know how it's called. I say Aniel Blade. He meets another beta tester in Koper, and this is where Kirito finds out you can't really trust people because Koper tries to use Kirito as like bait, and yeah, it's a good story that very easily can be an episode of TV, right? And I'm shocked it wasn't done in the OG Aincrad, because when they did the re-Aincrad manga, they included First Day. So I think The First Day is like one that's like ripe for the picking, and I think everyone wants to see that story get successfully adapted. There was, of course, like an April Fool's a long time ago. People are like, "Oh my god, they're gonna make Sword Art Online The First Day as an OVA," and then it was an April Fool's joke. It's not actually happening. I'd love it if you actually did make it happen, though. That'd be sweet. So The First Day is the first one I got. The second one is The Next Day, which is the next day. This is when Kirito meets Argo for the first time, and the two take on a quest together. I think that's another one that you can do right then and there. Now, The Next Day is, I believe, not as long as The First Day. The First Day is enough to where, like, it can be an episode, right? That's a solid episode right there. The Next Day, I'm not quite sure if that one can fit a whole episode. You might have to do some padding, but I do think this is something that you probably should adapt, which is Kirito and Argo meeting for the first time. That'd be fun. Then, of course, keeping on the day tradition, we have the final one, which is The Seventh Day. Now, this was a theater bonus where if you went to go see, I believe it was Scherzo of a Deep Night in theaters in Japan, you got this, which was a story of, the seventh day in Sword Art Online, Kirito and Argo do a quest together. So again, I don't know how long this one is because I actually haven't read this one, because I don't think it's been fully translated yet, right? Like, First Day has been reprinted in Sword Art Volume 8, so that's like there for everyone. And then The Next Day, that's been translated by fans, so that's able to be read. Seventh Day, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know how long it is, if it could fit an episode. Again, maybe we have to do a bit of padding here and there, but that'd be a nice fun one to adapt as well. Why not? But now we get to some more big ones. So the first one here is Hopeful Chant and Cordial Chords. Hopeful Chant is how Yuna died in SAO. That's a big one, and I think we could definitely touch on this, and that would tug at the heartstrings for people, to see Yuna sacrifice herself for the floor boss and everyone. And then we could see Nautilus's descent into fading away from being part of the Knights and all that type of stuff. I think that would be a great story to touch upon and adapt. And then Cordial Chords is the aftermath of Ordinal Scale, which tells you how they save Yuna's her AI, right? Like they save the AI, and that's why the AI is with Eiji in Alicization War of Underworld, right? They explain using that how she's still active and alive, right? So the real Yuna is alive again, right? Through her AR counterpart. That's what Cordial Chords was. And it shows another meeting of Kirito and Eiji meeting each other again. So that is also another episode I think would be great, to do as part of this hypothetical mini season of unadapted Sword Art stories. And then we have The Day Before, which this was kind of adapted. It was in a pachinko machine where they used this story. Sell the pachinko machine. Like when you're doing the pachinko machine, this story is animated and all that on there. It's crazy that they did The Day Before in a pachinko machine. But The Day Before, which has now since been re-released as part of Volume 22, Kiss and Fly, which is another short story volume. This is the story of Kirito and Asuna getting married. After he makes his proposal to her in Selmberg, after they did the deal, this is where they get the log house on floor 22 of Aincrad. This is their marriage. Fans would be all over it. All over it. This is a very, very fan pleasing story. We would all be over this to finally see Kirito and Asuna's marriage on fully animated, fully voiced. It would be fantastic. And with The Day Before comes The Day After, which is also reprinted. I believe in Volume 22 it is. And this one is set a month after the end of Fairy Dance. This story takes place on the 2nd anniversary of Sachi's death, and does feature a little something with Sachi as well in there. So, this would be a real nice one as well to touch upon, especially what it deals with, which is Asuna experiencing something very weird days before Sachi's anniversary, and her also dealing with the trauma that she just went through in freaking Fairy Dance. So that's another good one. That's another great one. I think could get adapted. So definitely touch on The Day Before and The Day After. I think more so The Day Before is one ripe for the picking than The Day After, but I think The Day After is still something you can do. And then we have Sister's Prayer. Sister's Prayer is a prequel to Mother Rosario, and is set in the real world during the final months of SAO, and it shows how Yuki and her sister, Aiko, met Merida and founded the Sleeping Knights. So this story would not have Kirito or Asuna in it because they're still in SAO, but I think this would be a nice little story for obviously Mother Rosario fans of Yuki, showing her and her sister. We'll get to see her sister, actually as a character for once, and show the beginning of Sleeping Knights. That would be fun. I think that would be that'd be pretty cool. And of course, this one was also re-released in Volume 22 as well. So really, a lot of the stories you can tell, I'm just picking from the short story volumes that they just haven't touched upon yet, because Volume 2 is a short story volume, and that's where you get the Silica episode from Season 1, that's where you get the Liz episode from Season 1, that's where you get the Yui 2-parter from Season 1. That all comes from Volume 2. And that's where you get Red-Nosed Reindeer as well. That all comes from Volume 2, right? So you just take Volume 22 and just adapt a bunch of those stories, right? Like The Day Before, The Day After, Sister's Prayer, and then like I said, then you just pick First Day, Next Day, Seventh Day, Hope Chant, Cordial Chords. We're picking episodes and stories here that really could fit as episodes that I think work. And another one we have here is Rainbow Bridge. Do you remember the Sword Art Online Extra Edition? I barely do, but there was a little thing where they talked about a quest in there for ALO, and buddy, they made a sequel to it. Reki wrote a freaking actual sequel straight up called Rainbow Bridge to the Extra Edition. And let's do it. Let us do it. This, of course, as you could tell, was released in Volume 22. Now, of course, you know, the big problem with all this is like, oh, this isn't out of chronological order. There's side stories. If you just brand it as, here's stories never told before, we're telling you them now, and you purposely make us know this is when the story takes place, everyone's going to be fine, and no one's going to have a problem. We're all going to be good. But Rainbow Bridge, this will be fun. This will be fun to just tell an ALO quest. Like, I love Caliber Arc for the simple fact it's just them doing a quest. Like, I would eat up an entire 24 episode season of Sword Art Online that is just them in ALO doing quests. I would eat that up. And that's what this is. And that's all I'm here for. I would eat that up. Rainbow Bridge, let's do it. So that's the short stories I have. One other thing I have that could be touched upon. Now this could be entering more spin-off territory than actual, like, you know, doing my mini season of side stories, but a little spin-off we could touch upon could be Girls Ops. Girls Ops is a spin-off manga, and it follows Leafa, Silica, and Lisbeth in ALO, with brief appearances from, like, you know, Kirito and Asuna and Sinon. Brief appearances from them making it, and of course this introduced the character of Lux into the Sword Art Online universe. Now there is, of course, the debate: is Girls Ops canon? That is debatable. From what I've read so far, Girls Ops, and I, shocker, have not read the entirety of Girls Ops. Fake fan, I know. I haven't seen anything too bad to, like, really decanonize this yet. I have only read, like, the first 2 volumes. So there's that. You know, maybe in volume 3 there's something huge and I'm like, oh, we're gonna have to retcon that. But so far, haven't read anything too bad. So Girls Ops could be just like a volume, well, not even a volume. It could be like, because I mean, when you think of something like, you know, the other animes that adapt chapters of manga, like they can make like one or two episodes just based off that. So, you know, this could literally just be a spin-off of Girls Ops. Let's do it. I'm there for it. Just a fun thing of the 3 SAO girls who have been rejected by Kirito. Like, let's do it. Why not? Anyway, so that's it. That's just my brief little ramble here on Sword Art Online stories that have yet to be adapted, that could be adapted in like a mini season of untold stories. And all these stories, I think we would all agree, we'd love to see them be adapted. We'd love to see them touched upon. We would love to see these stories brought to life from page to screen, and we'd eat it up. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Are there any stories you want to see adapted in this hypothetical mini season? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys all next time.